What is up, everybody? So, today, in this video, I'm not reviewing no Huachangbe Bluetooth speakers. I'm reviewing sound plates. Things that you put under your TV. So why do I have them? Because a couple of weeks ago, I went on eBay and bought 2 sound plates for, I forgot how much, but it wasn't expensive. You know, it's pretty cheap for each of them. So I decided, you know what, I'll just buy them, just see how they sound. Because they're thin. That means, first, it's got a flat woofer in there. So it's probably going to be some sort of fancy speaker design that I could talk about or look at for another video in there. And I was right. The LG does have a fancy woofer design. Not a good one, but a fancy one, that's for sure. And it's got some of those tiny-ass oval speakers in there, too. And second up, I want to hear how they sound. And third, because they're actually kind of cheap, if they sound bad, I might as well just blow them up. But since I have them, and surprisingly both of them worked, because they're all listed as untested, I will be doing a review on these. The top is the LG God knows what model. Just look up the LG. Oh yeah, the LAP340. The LAP340 sound plate. I'm sorry. The bottom is the Sony HT1 or XT1. HTXT1. Yeah, that's it. That's right. Sony HTXT1. See, I don't even care about the names of these because it's not like I'm going to be using them unless they sound really good, which unfortunately they don't. Anyways, I might as well do a test. Disclaimer. Let's go. I'm going to give y'all a spoiler. I already had a couple of minutes in for listening at these sound plates, and I'll tell you, these Zicorooops sound better than both of them for an MSRP about $100. The LG costs $400 brand new. The Sony, I think, costs $300 brand new. So not cheap. And well, they don't sound too good. I'm going to do a quick sound check of all these speakers. I'm also going to compare both of them to the Zicoroops, and then I'm going to do a teardown on both the LG and the Sony sound plate. I'm not going to take apart the Zicoroop speakers. I already did it. Go check out the review for that. Those are really decent for the price. Anyways, I'm going to play a couple of songs. You might have heard them before. Olov's Gadget used all that stuff. So, I'm going to do some sound testing. All right. Okay, sound check. We're going to be starting with the Sony HTXT1. Right, so I guess that would give you a basic idea of how both of these sound compared to each other. Now, I will be comparing them to the Zicoroop, starting from the Sony with the Zicoroop. I'm going to compare the Sony to the Zicoroops. Okay, so now it is the Sony versus the Zicoroop. Playing first will be the Sony. Playing first would be the Sony. Okay, Zicoroops. Sony. Alright, let's play something else. Okay. Song number 2. Let's start from the Sony again. Good for the love and the love for you too. But it is not the same thing in your relationship. But it is not the first party. Zicorooops. And I think I'm a good friend of mine. Good for the love. Good for the love. But it is not Sony. You want, and I think I'm a good friend of mine. Ready for a breakthrough and a great idea. Okay, Zicoroops. Make it happen again. And I don't even think it will happen. You can see that I get in the way. And you know I will be. Alright, so that's it for the Sony against the Zicoroops. I'm going to do the LG against the Zicoroops now. We'll be starting with the LG first. The same room as the other two. It's not just a good thing in this way to do. Don't worry if I have to go. Zicoroops. I think it's just me. But if you feel like coming home, I know that you can't find the answer. LG. Zicoroop. Right, well, I guess you could probably hear how good the Zicoroop is compared to both of these. Not only does it have deeper bass, It also sounds more full-bodied to me. It's better clarity. The stereo separation, to be honest, I can't really tell the difference. I'm listening to it at about, actually I'm listening to it at a distance closer where you would sit when you're watching a TV. So the stereo separation should only be better. And I'll tell you, I can't tell the difference between your regular 2-channel or the 4.1 or the Sony's 2.1 with some sort of image processing. I really just can't tell the difference. They're just speakers. They're like center channels. Just keep that in mind. Yes, LG's got 4.1 and some kind of a pseudo surround type shit, but there's no difference. It's just strictly center channel sounding. I don't know why. It could be me pairing it to Bluetooth or whatever, but if I can't figure it out, I don't think the average consumer can. Because I actually spent quite a while to see just what's wrong with it, but apparently, yeah. Anyways, well, there you have it. It's a quick sound test. We're going to go ahead and take apart both the sound bars, the sound plates, and see what's in there. But I'll just tell you, honestly, I don't really think they're worth your money. Not saying their build quality is bad, but the end product, the end result, just isn't satisfactory. All right. I mean, just like sometimes Bang & Olufsen made crappy stuff. It's not like they made terrible stuff. Like it's made in China or cheap shit, but it just doesn't sound good. Let's take it apart. Well, since the LG's on top, we'll start from there. So you hear down here, you see the woofers. Flat woofers. It's an interesting design. I might do a video for them specifically when I get the Bang & Olufsen P6 woofers. I ordered one from AliExpress, and it's going to get sent here soon. Wow, that's a lot of screws. I guess we'll get to it then. Jesus Christ, finally, that's a lot of screws. My hand is almost about to break. Let's just open this thing. All right, so I got the chip here. The circuit board here. This section here is the power supply. That's probably just a transistor, a MOSFET or transistor in there. I'm not going to take it apart. But, this is just your DC switching power supply. It probably is a switching. Right here, this is the ESS Ensemble. This is supposed to be the sound processor for the 4.2, or in this case, probably a 4.0. I don't know. These are probably used. Let's think of them as subwoofers. These are probably the 4.2 configuration, like the processor. All the DSP stuff goes in on this ESS Ensemble chip. And that down there, the e-tron Tech, is the RAM for it. Now here, we do have that. That is the microcontroller for all the buttons and whatnot. And, that is together with the ensemble. This here is a Texas Instrument DRV632. This is kind of an audio filter. These are all filters. I'm assuming these are just preamps or something like that. Working together with the ESS processor. That is probably like the equalizer. And this is probably like the stereo processing. All right. And down here we have this. This is the BD3460. That's a digital volume control. And the amplifier is a TPA 3118. This is quite a common Class T amplifier. Stereo chip. That is basically what the circuit board is about. Here is your driver. I've already done a free air test on these. I'll also be uploading that. These are flat, quite flat actually. These are the LG drivers, probably made by Panasonic. This is most likely a Panasonic patent. I'm gonna remove this kind of a grill thing to expose the small drivers, the high frequency drivers in here as well. I think I forgot to show you this. This is the Bluetooth chip. I'm not gonna remove the shielding can, but yeah, there you have it. Okay, pretty cool sound plate. Just as a side note here, just to bring you guys attention to this, this is a screw info, meaning there's different shapes under this. This one is a triangle. There could be a circle and a triangle inside, like this one, or it could just be a circle. It designates which one to screw into, so that the assembly line people would know what they're doing. Because I won't be taking all of them off, but I'll get a couple of these drivers out the enclosure. All right, that's the Teardown, the LG LAP340. Here are your full range drivers. And these are neodymium magnet. That's pretty amazing. These must be very efficient. LG Z80. Decent. Very decent. They're probably mid-tweeters. I would keep these and use them as mid-ranges, I believe. But we'll see about that. Very decent speakers. Alright, now let's take the Sony apart. Alright, so I finally got this thing apart. Ooh, it was a pain to take this apart. Everything was like glued together. Anyways, here is the amplifier board. That is probably the controller for all the HDMI. Silicon image. Yep, that is definitely some sort of an image processing chip. Now I will be taking this chip off of this thing so we can see what's behind it. I'm pretty sure the amps and everything is behind the chip. Okay, so I got the circuit board out of the place. And here we have that looks like a microcontroller. This, let me turn that over. Analog devices, IC seem to be the Dolby processor. This thing supports Dolby, by the way. This here is the power amplifier. It's preamp and it's amp class D, pretty obvious. Here is the connections to the speakers and the subwoofer. This 2.1 setup. Okay, so it seems to be a quite interesting design here. This apparently is a stereo amplifier, a TS5624 stereo amplifier. It's supposed to be 150 watts per channel. So what I'm guessing they had was they probably used some sort of a crossover circuit here with these inductors and capacitors, and they mixed one of them down to mono for the subwoofers, and the other is for the stereo speakers, the small neodymium drivers for playing everything except for the sub bass. Interesting neodymium designs. You can see vents for the voice coil and a very interesting plastic spider. I'm assuming that's what they did here. There's no other possibilities in my opinion. I think this is a preamp. I'm not 100% certain, but because I couldn't find any information on this IC, but it seemed to be they did that. And this is where the power comes into the main board. This is how it looks. And I'm going to show you something. Alright, here's the switching power supply. Just thought that I might take a pic of that. And here we have the VFD display. Interesting, they still use a VFD display, doesn't it? And I just dropped it. Well, anyways, that's it. That's for today's video. It's gone on long enough. You've seen the teardown, you heard the sound. Well, we'll call it a day then.